The sky above the dead planet was dark and silent. No stars shined clearly here. Broken clouds moved slowly, hiding what little light remained. The land below was cracked and dry, filled with old metal ruins and sharp rocks. Long ago, this place had life. Now it was only a grave. In the middle of the ruins, a small alien child stood alone. He was very young. His body was thin and weak. His skin was pale blue, covered in dust and small cuts. His large eyes looked too big for his small face, wide with fear. He held his arms close to his chest, trying to stay warm, even though the air burned cold. Above him, a giant ship rose into the sky. It was the last ship. The child watched it with shaking legs. He tried to call out, but his voice was weak. The sound disappeared into the wind. He lifted one small hand, hoping someone would see him. No one did. Inside that ship were his people. They had gathered earlier, arguing in loud voices. They said the evacuation was already delayed. They said the child was sick, slow, and useless. They said there was no space left. They said saving him would risk everyone else. Most of all, they said one thing again and again. He is not worth it. The child did not understand all their words, but he understood the meaning. He saw the way they avoided his eyes. He saw fear and shame on their faces. He saw the door close. Now the ship was leaving. The ground shook as fire pushed it higher. Dust and rocks flew into the air. The child fell to his knees, covering his face. When he looked up again, the ship was already far away, becoming a small light in the dark sky. Then even that light was gone. Silence returned. The child stayed on his knees for a long time. He waited, hoping the ship would turn back. He counted his breaths. He listened for any sound. Nothing came. Slowly, he stood up. Around him were broken buildings, fallen towers, and old machines that no longer worked. Some walls still had strange symbols carved into them. The child did not know what they meant, but he knew this place was dangerous. Predators lived here now. The child moved carefully through the ruins. His feet hurt, but he did not cry. Crying made noise. Noise meant death. He found a small space under a fallen metal plate. It smelled of rust and old oil, but it was hidden. He crawled inside and curled up, pressing his back against the cold ground. His stomach hurt. He had not eaten in a long time. His mouth felt dry. He closed his eyes and tried to remember his home world. He remembered warm light, soft ground, and voices that once sounded kind. Those memories hurt more than the hunger. Far away, beyond this dead planet, the galaxy already knew what had happened. A simple message spread across star systems. Evacuation complete. One life lost. Acceptable loss. No one questioned it. This was the law of the galaxy. Weak lives were left behind. Broken ones were erased. Survival came first. Mercy came last. Some species felt a small sadness. Others felt nothing at all. Most moved on, but the child was still alive. Hours passed. Then more time passed. The sky changed. Color as weak light moved across the clouds. The planet grew colder. Strange sounds echoed in the distance. Something was hunting. The child pressed his hands over his mouth to stop his breathing from shaking. Then something strange happened. A sound came from the sky. It was soft at first, almost like a whisper. The child slowly peeked out from his hiding place. High above the planet, far beyond normal paths, a small ship appeared on the scanners of distant stations. Its design was different. Simple, rough, human. The galaxy noticed it at once. Humans rarely came this far. Humans followed no rules well. Humans were known for doing things that made no sense. The ship slowed down. It changed direction. And for the first time since the child was abandoned, something unexpected happened. The human ship began to descend toward the dead planet. Far across the galaxy, many watched in silence. No one understood why, but one thing was clear. The child was no longer completely alone. The child did not know what a human was. He only knew that something new had entered the sky. From inside his hiding place, he felt the ground change. A low sound moved through the ruins, deep and steady. It was not like the loud ships of his people. This sound was slow, careful, almost gentle. The child pressed his face against the cold metal and listened. The sound grew closer. Dust fell from broken walls. Small stones rolled across the ground. The air itself seemed to move, warm for the first time since the ships had left. The child's heart beat fast. New ships meant danger. Every story he had ever heard said the same thing. Strangers bring pain. He stayed hidden as long as he could. Outside, a small human ship landed between the ruins. It was not large or shiny. Its surface was scratched and dark, marked by long travel. Steam escaped from its sides as its engines shut down. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a door opened. A single human stepped out. The human was tall compared to the child. He wore a worn exploration suit, not armor. His helmet came off, showing a tired face with deep lines. His eyes moved slowly, scanning the ruins, not like a hunter, but like someone searching for something lost. The human spoke softly into a device on his wrist. "Life signs confirmed," he said. "Small, alone." The words meant nothing to the child, but the tone did. It was not angry. It was not cruel. Still, the child did not move. The human walked carefully through the ruins, stepping over broken stone and fallen metal. He did not rush. He did not draw his weapon. Instead, he stopped often, listening. The child's stomach twisted. Hunger made his body weak. Fear made his hands shake. A loose piece of metal slipped beneath his foot. The sound was small, but it was enough. The human froze. Slowly, he turned toward the noise. The child backed deeper into the shadows, his chest tight. He expected shouting. He expected pain. He expected to be dragged out and blamed for everything. None of that happened. The human lowered himself to one knee. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said, speaking slowly, clearly, as if the child could understand. "You're safe." The child did not believe him, that no one had ever said those words and meant them. The human reached into a pouch and pulled out a small food pack. He placed it gently on the ground and pushed it forward, then stepped back. "I'll leave this here," the human said. "You can take it when you want." The child stared at the pack. His body screamed for food. His mind screamed louder. Traps often came with kindness. Minutes passed. The human did not move. He sat on a broken stone, keeping his hands visible. He looked tired. His breathing was slow. He waited. At last, hunger won. The child crawled forward inch by inch. His eyes never left the human. When his fingers touched the food pack, he flinched, expecting something bad to happen. Nothing did. He tore it open and ate as fast as he could. Warm energy spread through his body. His hands stopped shaking. His head felt clearer. The human watched quietly. Only when the child finished did the human speak again. "You were left behind," he said, his voice low. "That shouldn't happen, not to a kid." The child did not understand the words, but he felt the meaning. His eyes filled with tears. He did not know why. He tried to wipe them away. Ashamed. The human noticed. He felt something heavy settle in his chest. He activated his communicator. "This is Ranger Cole," he said. "I have found an abandoned alien child, requesting emergency shelter clearance." The reply came quickly. "Negative," the voice said. "Galactic law forbids recovery. Leave the subject. Leave the subject." The human looked at the child. The child looked back, fear returning to his eyes. The human closed his communicator. No, he said quietly. I won't. High above the planet, signals spread across the stars. Alerts flashed in distant command. Rooms. A human had broken protocol. A human had refused to look away. And for the first time since the evacuation, the galaxy began to pay attention. The warning reached the planet like a shadow. Ranger Cole felt it before he heard it. His ships. Systems began to glow red, one by one. Soft alarms turned sharp. A message filled the small screen on his wrist. Final notice. Remove yourself from the surface. Do not transport. The child. Cole exhaled slowly. He had known this would happen. Across the ruins, the alien child felt the change too. The air seemed heavier. The ground vibrated in a way that did not belong to the planet. He looked up and saw faint lights moving behind the clouds. Not one ship. Many. The child's body stiffened. He understood this feeling. This was what came before punishment. He backed away from Cole, fear returning to his wide eyes. He pointed toward the sky and made a soft, broken sound. It was the sound of apology. Cole followed his gaze. They were already there. Shapes drifted above the clouds, silent and massive. Galactic enforcement ships, clean, perfect, cold. They did not land. They never needed to. A voice echoed from the air, translated into clear sound. Human Ranger Cole, you have violated evacuation law. The child is classified as unacceptable. Loss, step away. Cole stood between the child and the sky. He removed his helmet fully and placed it on the ground, a small act of defiance. Wind pulled at his hair. Dust stung his eyes. No, he said. You don't leave kids behind. The voice did not pause. Compassion is inefficient, it replied. Survival demands sacrifice. The child watched, confused. He did not know the words, but he saw the way Cole's shoulders squared. He saw the way the human did not step aside. Fear twisted inside the child's chest. He had heard these voices before, long ago, in council halls. He remembered how his people had lowered their heads when these same words were spoken. He remembered being pushed gently, but firmly, toward the door. He understood something now. This human would be punished because of him. The child took a small step forward. Cole felt it and turned. No, Cole said softly, shaking his head. Don't. But the child was already moving. He stepped past Cole and into the open, raising his small hands. His body trembled, but his eyes were calm. He pointed to himself, then to the sky, then away from Cole. He was offering himself. Enforcement ships reacted at once. Lights focused on the child. Energy fields adjusted. Weapons charged, not to kill, but to contain. Cole moved instantly. He grabbed the child and pulled him back, placing his own body in front of him. You don't get to take him, Cole said. His voice rose for the first time. Not after what you did. The voice sharpened. You are replaceable human. Cole smiled sadly. Yeah, he said. So is every rule you made without a heart. A countdown appeared on Cole's screen. 10 seconds to comply. The child pressed his face into Cole's back, gripping the fabric of his suit. He felt warmth. He felt something he had never felt before, someone choosing him. The countdown continued. 9.8. Far across the galaxy, observers watched in silence. Some expected the human to move at the last second. Humans were known for survival. 7.6. Cole closed his eyes. 5. Then the ground beneath them shifted. A deep sound rolled through the ruins, older than any ship above, ancient, powerful. The countdown stopped. Lights flickered across the enforcement fleet. What is that signal? The voice demanded. The child lifted his head. The ruins around them began to glow. Symbols carved into broken walls lit up. One by one, the planet was waking up. Cole felt the air change. Energy surged under his feet. The child's eyes reflected the light. He looked just as confused as everyone else. High above, the fleet pulled back slightly. Scanners screamed warnings. The voice returned. No longer calm. This planet is not dead, it said. This child is not ordinary. Cole looked down at the child. Neither of them had known the truth, but the galaxy had. Just realized something terrible. They had not abandoned a weak child. They had abandoned a key. And now, it was too late to undo that mistake. The ruins did not. Stop glowing. Light moved through the broken city like blood through veins. Cracked walls shone from the inside. Fallen towers hummed with deep power. The dead planet was waking up, and it was doing so slowly, as if it had been waiting. The alien child stood frozen. He looked down at his hands. Thin lines of light wrapped around his fingers, soft but alive. He pulled his hands back, frightened. But the light followed him. It did not burn. It did not hurt. It felt familiar. Ranger. Cole stepped closer, careful not to startle him. "Hey," Cole said quietly. "You're okay. You hear me?" The child nodded, though he did not fully understand. His heart was beating fast. Memories began to rise in his mind. Not clear images, but feelings. Songs without words. Stories told long ago. Above them, the enforcement ships pulled back even farther. Their perfect formation broke for the first time. New commands moved across their networks. Panic hid behind their calm voices. This system should be inactive. One officer said, "The planet was declared dead centuries ago." Another voice answered, tense, "It was not dead. It was sleeping." A beam of light scanned the surface, passing over Cole, then locking onto the child. The symbols around him glowed brighter in response, pushing the beam away. The planet was protecting him. The child stumbled back as the ground beneath his feet shifted. A hidden platform rose from the dust, lifting him gently into the air. He cried out, reaching for Cole. Cole grabbed his hand. "I've got you," Cole said. "I won't let go." The platform stopped, holding both of them. Around them, the ruins moved. Broken walls folded into new shapes. Ancient machines pulled themselves together, shaking off centuries of dirt and rust. They were not weapons. They were guardians. Cole stared in disbelief. "This place," he whispered. "It's a system." A voice rose from the ruins, deep and calm, speaking in many tones at once. It echoed inside minds, not through the air, Guardian recognized. The child gasped. The voice was old, but kind. It felt like a memory of home. Images filled the child's mind. He saw his people long ago, building this world not as a city, but as a refuge. A place to protect knowledge and life when the galaxy grew cruel. The system was made to sleep, waiting for one of their blood to return. He remembered now. His species were not weak, they were caretakers. The galaxy had feared that role. High above, the enforcement command erupted into argument. "We must secure." "The child immediately," one leader said. "No," another replied. "If we move now, the system may see us as a threat." They had already waited too long. The child felt the voices arguing. He did not hear the words, but he felt the pressure. Fear twisted his chest again. He looked up at Cole. "They want me," the child said softly, in broken translated words. "I am danger." Cole knelt so they were face to face. "No," Cole said firmly. "They are afraid. That's different." The child did not fully understand, but he trusted the tone. He trusted the hands that still held his dot. Suddenly, a sharp signal cut through the air. A smaller ship broke formation and descended fast. Unauthorized. Desperate. "They're moving," Cole said. The Guardians reacted instantly. Light formed shields around the ruins. The descending ship slammed into the barrier and spun out, crashing into the dust far away. Silence followed, across the galaxy. The truth began to spread. This was not an abandoned child. This was a living key to an ancient promise the galaxy had chosen to forget. The leaders who once signed the evacuation Order felt fear for the first time. Not fear of power, but fear of judgment. The system spoke again. Caretaker bloodline detected. Protection active. The child closed his eyes as warmth surrounded him. For the first time since the ships had left, he did not feel cold. Cole felt it too. The galaxy watched as one human stood beside one small child, protected by a world that had never truly died, and in that moment, the balance of power began to shift, not because of weapons, but because the truth had awakened. The galaxy did not respond with peace. It responded with fear. Within hours, messages raced across star systems. Emergency councils were called. Old treaties were pulled from deep archives. The name of the dead planet, once erased from records, returned to every screen. Caretaker world. A title spoken only in warnings. Around the planet, the enforcement fleet grew. More ships arrived, keeping a careful distance from the glowing ruins. None dared to cross the shields again. They watched, waited, and argued. On the surface, Ranger Cole stayed close to the child. The ancient system had created shelter around them. Soft light formed walls against the cold wind. The child sat on the ground, knees pulled to his chest, watching the sky with worried eyes. "They're still here," the child said quietly. Cole nodded. "They don't like what they don't control," he said. "That's true everywhere." The child looked down. "My people ran," he said. "They were afraid. Maybe the galaxy was right." Cole shook his head at once. "No," he said. "Fear doesn't decide what's right." Before the child could answer, Cole's communicator lit up again. This time, the signal did not come from the enforcement fleet. It came from human space. Cole activated the channel. "Ranger Cole," a calm voice said. "This is Earth Command. We have received your report." The child tensed. "Are they angry?" the child asked. Cole smiled softly. "They're listening," he said. The voice continued. "You are ordered to explain the situation." Cole looked at the child, then at the glowing ruins. "There's an abandoned child," Cole said clearly. "The galaxy left him to die. I refused." There was a long silence. Then another voice joined the channel, older, steady. "Did the child choose you?" the voice asked. The child looked up, surprised. Cole answered honestly. "He tried to give himself up to save me." The silence that followed felt different, heavy, thoughtful. Finally, the voice spoke again. "Then stay where you are," it said. "You are not alone." The channel closed. Minutes passed. Then the sky changed. New ships arrived, dropping out of jump space far beyond the enforcement line. They were not warships. They carried medical markings, supply codes, and civilian identifiers, human ships. The enforcement fleet reacted at once. "This sector is under galactic control," their voice declared. "Withdraw immediately." The human ships did not move. New message broadcast across all channels, simple and calm. "We are here for the child." The child's eyes widened. More human ships followed. Rescue vessels, science ships, even family transports. They formed a wide circle, not threatening, but unbreakable. On the surface, the ancient system reacted again. The ruins glowed brighter, recognizing something new. All eyes. Cole placed a hand on the child's shoulder. "See?" he said. "We show up." The child swallowed hard. His chest felt tight. He had never seen anyone come back for him. Not his people. Not the galaxy. The enforcement leaders argued openly now. "If humans take the child, the caretaker system may align with them," one warned. "That power cannot be allowed," another replied. "You already allowed it by abandoning him," a third snapped. A human ship moved forward slightly, stopping just outside weapon range. A message followed. "We do not want war," it said, "but we will not leave a child to die." The child looked at Cole. "Will they fight?" he asked. Cole answered honestly, "If they have to." The galaxy could no longer hide from what it had done. Across thousands of systems, the caretaker world streamed ancient records into open space. The planet was no longer silent. Its systems spoke in light, sound, and data, sending memories older than many empires. The truth spread fast, long ago. When the galaxy was young and afraid, certain species were chosen to protect life, not rule it. They were called caretakers. They healed damaged worlds. They protected children during wars. They preserved knowledge when others burned it. The alien. Child's people were the last of them, and the galaxy had erased them. Council chambers filled with uneasy silence. Leaders who once spoke proudly now avoided each other's eyes. Their old laws appeared on screens, stamped with the same words again and again. Acceptable loss. On the surface of the planet, the child sat beside Ranger Cole, watching the sky. The Guardians stood quietly around them, no longer hidden. They did not threaten. They waited. The child listened as the planet whispered memories into his mind. He saw caretakers sheltering refugees. He saw children carried through fire. He saw his people standing between destruction and life. Tears filled his eyes. They were good, he said softly. Why did they hate us? Cole thought for a moment. Because good people make cruel systems uncomfortable. He said. Above them, a message arrived from the Galactic Council. For the first time, it was not an order. It was a request. Human representatives, the message said, we ask for dialogue. Human ships opened channels at once. Not soldiers spoke, but diplomats, doctors, and teachers. A council leader appeared on screen. Older now, tired. We did not know the child was a caretaker. The leader said. A human diplomat answered calmly. You knew he was a child. The leader flinched. We feared what his people could become, the leader admitted. Their systems could judge us. The child looked up. Judge? He asked. Cole met his eyes. For what we do when no one is watching. Cole said. The caretaker world pulsed softly, as if agreeing. The council leader lowered his head. We abandoned more than one child, he said. We abandoned our conscience. Silence followed. Then something unexpected happened. A small alien ship broke away from the enforcement line. It moved slowly, weapons powered down. A transmission followed, sent openly. My species voted to support the humans, the captain said. We were wrong. Another ship followed. Then another. Not human ships. Alien ones. One by one, vessels from different worlds powered down weapons and moved closer to the caretaker world, forming a new circle. Not of control. Of protection. On the surface, the child felt something shift inside him. The fear that had lived there for so long finally loosened its grip. They are changing, he whispered. Yes, Cole said, because someone stayed. The caretaker system activated a final record. A message played across every channel, old and clear. Caretakers do not rule. They remind. The galaxy listened. The council sent another message. We ask forgiveness, it said, and guidance. The child stood slowly. He was still small, still thin, still young, but the planet responded to him as it always had. The Guardians lowered their heads. The child looked at Cole, unsure. What do I do? He asked. Cole smiled gently. You be what they were afraid of, he said. Kind. The child turned toward the stars. We will help, he said simply. But no more children left behind. The words spread across the galaxy, carried by light and silence. Empires that had never apologized before now had to choose. Change. Or be remembered. And for the first time in its long history, the galaxy began to learn a lesson it had avoided. For ages. Power fades. But compassion leaves marks that never do. The galaxy changed quietly. There were no great battles. No burning fleets. No worlds destroyed. What happened instead was harder. The galaxy had to live with what it had done. On the caretaker world, the sky slowly cleared. The ancient shields lowered, not in surrender, but in trust. Human ships and alien vessels remained nearby, no longer in lines of threat, but in circles of watchful peace. The child stood at the center of it all. He was still small, still young, but he no longer shook when ships passed overhead. The fear that once owned his heart had loosened its hold. Ranger Cole stood beside him, as he always had. Across the stars, the Galactic Council sent a final message, one that would be recorded in history. We failed, it said. We chose survival without mercy. We will not make that choice again. New laws followed. Simple laws, clear laws. No child may be abandoned. No life may be erased for convenience. Compassion is not weakness. On dozens of worlds, rescue missions launched for the first time in centuries. Lost children were searched for. Forgotten refugees were brought home. Not all could be saved, but many were. On the caretaker world, the ancient system completed its awakening. The ruins reshaped into living halls filled with warm light. The planet was no longer a weapon or a threat. It became what it was always meant to be, a sanctuary. The child walked through the halls, guided by soft voices only he could hear. They did not command him, they taught him. They showed him how to heal soil, how to calm storms, how to protect life without control. He was not a ruler, he was a guardian. One day, as light filtered through the restored city, the child stopped walking. Will I have to leave? He asked. Cole looked at him, surprised. Leave where? Cole said. The humans, the child said. They came for me, but I am not human. Cole smiled. Family isn't about what you are, he said. It's about who stays. The child thought about that for a long time. Human families began arriving on the planet. Scientists came to learn. Doctors came to help. Teachers came to teach. No one claimed ownership. No one raised flags. They simply helped. The galaxy watched carefully. This was new. Months passed. The child grew stronger. He laughed more. He learned. Human words, human stories, human jokes. He learned that humans argued loudly but cared deeply. That they failed often, but showed up anyway. One evening, as stars filled the sky, the child sat beside Cole on a high platform overlooking the world. They could have killed you, the child said quietly. Why did you stay? Cole leaned back, looking at the stars. Because once, he said, someone didn't stay for me. The child turned to him, surprised. Cole met his eyes. I decided I wouldn't be that person. The child reached out and took Cole's hand. It felt warm, steady, across the galaxy. A new phrase entered common speech. Humanity changed everything. Not because humans were stronger, not because they were smarter, but because when the galaxy walked away from a child, one human did not. Years later, ships would still pass near the caretaker world. Pilots would slow down, out of respect. Parents would tell their children the story. They would say that the galaxy once believed compassion was inefficient. Then humans arrived and proved that kindness could reshape stars. The story ended not with a victory parade, but with a small child standing on a living world, no longer afraid, surrounded by people who chose him, and that choice changed everything.